Hello, what's up guys? It's me here from my channel. Today's video is going to be very interesting because we are going to talk about everything about quick tip, best time to buy a used sport bike in Kenya. And I know that you are really eager to hear this because of how many questions that I get from people who want to buy used bikes asking me when would be the best time for them to make this purchase. So today is the day we're going to discuss all that in detail. But before we get into everything, if you have not yet subscribed, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future updates. So first of all, why would anyone even think of buying a used bike? Well, it's simple. Buying a used bike is one of the most convenient and easy ways of getting your own bike without having to spend too much money. Most people who are in their early 20s or even late 20s and they want to get their own bikes, but they do not have a lot of cash to spare. They go for the used bikes because it's also an easy way to get into motorcycling. Some people say that it is better to start with a used bike than going for a brand new one. Why? Because with a used bike you are likely to drop it. You will crash it, no worries. At least you have not spent too much money. And since you're still learning, you're likely to make some mistakes along the way and end up crashing your bike. If it's a brand new one, then you'll be crying. So yes, used bikes are a good way to go. Now, before you decide to buy a used bike, there are some few things that you should keep in mind that will help you to know whether buying a used bike is actually a good idea, or rather a bad idea. First thing that you need to consider is your experience level. I know that some of you are saying that, hey man, I am already riding a bike, so I can handle any other bike. Remember that riding a bike and riding a sport bike are two different things entirely. But with a sport bike, no, you've got to use the front brake, and sometimes you even use both the brakes together. Now most of the sport bikes have different riding modes. You have the rain mode, you have the sports mode, and the other extreme one, which is the track mode. These are the three main modes that you're likely to find in most sport bikes. Now the rain mode is for beginners. That's the one that you should be using when you are just starting out with a sport bike. In fact, I recommend that you stay with the rain mode for at least 6 months before you can even think of changing to the sports mode. The sports mode is more aggressive and it gives you more power delivery. But it's not something that you want to be using every now and then. That's the mode that you're supposed to use when you are going to the racetrack, when you are riding normally on the road. Always use the rain mode because it's less aggressive and it will help you to learn how to control the bike properly. The second thing that you need to consider is the budget that you have. See, when buying a used bike, always try to get something that will suit your budget. For example, let's say that you have $2,000 to spend. Do not look for a bike that costs $3,000. Try to get a bike that will suit the amount of money that you have. The third thing that you need to consider is maintenance. You know very well that sport bikes are very high maintenance. These bikes are not like the unmodified bikes. They require special care. So when you are buying a used sport bike, make sure that you factor in the cost of maintenance. If you don't have enough money to cater for the maintenance, then it's advisable that you look for another bike that is less high maintenance, something that you can handle. The fourth thing that you need to consider is where to buy a used bike. This is very important. There are some people who will come and tell you that you should buy from a dealership. I disagree. Yes, you can buy from a dealership, but you can also get a good deal when you buy from a private seller. What is important is to make sure that you are buying a bike that has not been tampered with. You will know a good bike by looking at it. If the bike looks good, it means that it has been well taken care of. Also, when you are buying from a private seller, make sure that you go with someone who knows a thing or two about bikes. That person will help you to inspect the bike and see if it's roadworthy. Now we are moving to the main topic of the day. When is the best time to buy a used sport bike? Let's discuss this in details. The first time that you should consider buying a used bike is at the beginning of the year. This is the best time to buy a used bike because most people who bought brand new bikes during the festive season will be selling their year-old bikes to buy newer ones. So if you want to get a good deal, the best time is at the beginning of the year when everyone is trying to offload their old bikes so that they can buy new ones. The second time that you should consider buying a used bike is after the rainy season. You know very well that during the rainy season, there are so many accidents that happen. Most bikes get damaged beyond repair. So after the rainy season, you will see a lot of people selling their wrecked bikes at very low prices. If you want to get a good deal, this is the best time to buy a used bike. But remember to always inspect the bike very well before you can buy it. Make sure that you check the engine, check the frame, see if it's bent, and check all the body parts to see if they are all in good condition. The third time that you should consider buying a used bike is during the festive season. This is also another good time to buy a used bike because during the festive season, most people sell their bikes so that they can use the money to enjoy themselves. They probably want to travel up country or they want to go for a holiday. So this is the best time to get a good deal when buying a used bike. But remember, just like the other times, always inspect the bike before you can buy it. The final time that you should consider buying a used bike is when you see an advert of a bike that you like. This is just a golden opportunity for you to own a bike that you have always admired. That was the list of the 4 times that you should consider buying a used bike. But before we close this video, I have a small favor that I want to ask from you. Please, if you have watched up to this point, it's an indication that you have enjoyed the video. So please make sure that you hit that like button. And also, if you have not yet subscribed, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future updates. Thank you very much for watching today's video. It's me here from my channel, signing off. Until next time, stay safe, and ride fast.